Go. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In today's video, we are going to go over the 5 fundamental pillars of Islam. Now, a lot of you probably heard of this before and you probably know about it as well, but we're going to kind of dive into each and every one of the pillars and talk about what they mean for us Muslims. And these are mainly focused on actions. These are fundamental actions that every single Muslim has to apply in their lives in order to be fully considered as a Muslim. As in, if any of these things are deficient, there's a deficiency in our iman, there's a deficiency in our faith if there's a deficiency in these actions. So first and foremost, the first pillar is the Shahada. The Shahada is something that every single Muslim affirms. Without it, they can't even be a Muslim. And it is basically the declaration of faith. So we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. We bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and we bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad, is the messenger and the slave of Allah. These two fundamental phrases make up the entire religion of Islam. We affirm that there is only one God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the creator of everything, and that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is his final messenger. As in, there is no other messenger after him. He is the final seal of the prophets, and he has come with the final word of Allah. Now, we always say this. We say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. We believe that there's no God but Allah and that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the messenger of Allah. But what this phrase, in its actuality, in its full sense, means that everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, we accept that and we submit to that. And everything that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has commanded and has taught us, we accept that. So, as Muslims, we have to do our best to uphold every single command from Allah and every single teaching and command from the Prophet ﷺ. Only in this way can our faith be complete. We have to obey them in the best way possible, and wherever mistakes are made, then Allah is the most forgiving, but we have to have the effort there. Now, the second pillar of faith is the salah, the 5 daily prayers. I cannot emphasize this enough. Every single Muslim is required to pray 5 times a day, no matter what state they're in. If they are sane, if they have consciousness and they can see and they can hear and they have sanity, they have to pray 5 times a day. And yes, I mean even people who are paralyzed completely, paralyzed from the neck down, even those people have to pray 5 times a day. This is an absolute fundamental pillar of Islam. Without this, our Islam is extremely deficient. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 daily prayers for every single person. It's so important that the Prophet ﷺ said that between belief and disbelief is the prayer. So establishing the prayer basically signifies that we are Muslims. This is an act that a Muslim does. And if a person does not do this, then their faith is deficient in some ways. And may Allah save us and allow us to pray 5 times a day. The third pillar of faith is the fasting in Ramadan. So the 30 days fasting or 29 days that we do in Ramadan, every single Muslim who is healthy and an adult Muslim is required to fast. So people who are very old or have some medical conditions, or women who are pregnant, or children, of course, they're not supposed to fast 30 days. But for everybody else who is healthy, who is an adult, they have to fast these days. And only in the most difficult circumstances are Muslims allowed to not fast those days, and then they have to make it up in a later time. But I've often noticed that a lot of young men and young women don't fast during Ramadan. And this is a grave, huge sin. Every single Muslim who is healthy, who is able, who is an adult, has to fast during the month of Ramadan. And this is an essential part of Iman. Now, the next pillar of faith is the zakah, or zakat as we say in Urdu. This is the required charity that must be given by every able Muslim. It amounts to basically 2.5% of our savings or extra assets or extra gold or silver that we have. And every year that amount is calculated. So 2.5% of this amount, and then that amount must be given away in charity. This is absolutely required. This is required to the point that when the first Khalifa, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, became the first Khalifa, and some Muslims did not give zakat anymore because they said, oh, we used to give it to the Prophet Muhammad, but we won't give it to you. He went to war with them just to get the zakat from them. This is how important zakat is. That every able person who has the money, who has the means to do so, he has to give this amount in charity. And it's an absolute fundamental aspect of Islam. Now the final one, and the final one is not taken seriously either. And this is the pilgrimage, the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. Every person who is able, who is physically able and who is financially able, as soon as they become, most scholars say, a lot of scholars say that maybe you have a year or two, but some scholars say that as soon as you are able to, you have to do the Hajj. We oftentimes see that, oh, we're saving money for a house, we're saving money for a car, we're saving money for this and that. But how many of us have a savings account just for Hajj that we're preparing for, that when we have enough money, we're going to make Hajj? This is an absolutely essential part of our faith. And oftentimes I see even in our communities, a lot of people, they've saved up so much money in their lifetime, yet they haven't gone to Hajj yet. And there's a number of different factors as to why they're not going. Maybe they're not committed yet. Maybe they don't feel ready. Maybe they are not ready for the changes that are required after Hajj. But the fact of the matter is that whenever we are able, inshallah, when we have the financial means, when we have the time, when we have the physical ability, we have to do at least one Hajj in our lifetime. This is an absolute requirement. And with that, that is the conclusion of the 5 pillars of Islam: the Shahada, the 5 daily prayers, the fasting of Ramadan, the Zakah, and the Hajj. These are the bare minimum. These are the bare minimum actions that must be established, and they are absolutely fard. We have to do it. These are obligatory. There is no option in this. If we are able to do them, we have to do them. And it is essential to know these pillars and to live by them. They're not called pillars for no reason. We have to apply each and every one of them in our lives to the best of our abilities. All praise and glory is due to Allah. May His peace and blessing be the Prophet ﷺ. We ask Allah to guide us, to forgive us, and to put us upon the Sirat al-Mustaqim, and to allow us to uphold these 5 pillars of Islam to the best of our ability. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.